Welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show, where we celebrate the power of words and the beauty of storytelling. Join us every week. We have conversations with authors and small business owners. We have exciting lineup of guests who will take us on a literary journey like no other. Join us as we delve into the world of authors and small business owners from diverse backgrounds and cultures, each bringing their own unique perspective and voice to the table. From thrilling memoirs to captivating fiction and business startups, our guests will share their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs, offering us a glimpse into the rich tapestry of human experience. Immerse yourself in the magic of words and discovery as we explore the global literary landscape together. So grab a cup of tea, cozy up by the fire, and join us on this adventure of a lifetime. The Hollis Chapman Show is your ticket to a world of imagination, inspiration, and enlightenment. Don't miss out on the opportunity to connect with some of the most talented and compelling voices in literature today. Tune in and let the journey begin.
Hello and welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show. It's Tuesday. I am Hollis. Hey, thanks for joining us on this hot Tuesday in Tempe, Arizona. It's 10 o'clock in the morning and it's already 100 degrees out. Yay. But we have a hot guest on, and she's here. She's waiting in the wings. She's here to promote her newest book. It's outstanding. My guest is retired registered nurse who returned to school later in her years to pursue a love of writing. Earning a BA from Sarah Lawrence College, and an MFA in creative writing from Columbia University. Let's welcome to the show our special guest, Joni Marie Iraci.
Meet you.
Hey, thanks for joining us, ma'am. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Hey, again, it's wonderful stuff. You went back to school, you got your degree in writing and stuff because that was your passion. You knew you wanted to do it, even though you were helping the world by being a nurse. Tell us more about your story and tell us more about your latest book, okay?
Sure. I retired, when my children were born because I needed to be home with them. I retired from nursing, and then they were still kind of bungee corded to the nest, but they could get in and out of the house by themselves. So I went back to school. As Sarah Lawrence I went to a diploma nursing school, back in the day, and so I had some college credits, but not a degree, a bachelor's. So I would get invitations from Sarah Lawrence to go to their continuing education program for adults. I got every April it would come. And so then one April I decided, okay, let me go try. And I thought it was an omen because I couldn't open the door. So I thought, how's this going to work if I can't even get in? But I got in. Finally, somebody helped me. And as I was standing there, had to be like over 100 people in this little house, and the director of the program came down the stairs and singled me out. It was surreal. And said, why don't you come upstairs and talk to me? You should do this. I never saw her before in my life. And so we chatted, and she gave me the application, and there were no tests, which I loved about Sarah Lawrence. It was all writing, 100% writing, and very well-rounded liberal arts education. And then I finished. I was, of course, the eldest graduate. The Journal News came to interview me because of that. And then I took about a year off. I got jury duty, 3 months of criminal court, and federal criminal court downtown Manhattan. And I got accepted to Columbia on the same day as I got picked for the jury. So I thought it was a joke. They call you up to admit you. And again, I was one of the eldest. I wasn't exactly the eldest, but I was one of them. And it was a great experience. I had a lot of trouble with technology and formatting, but the kids, I shouldn't call them kids, but they helped me, and I helped them with life stories and things like that. And they wrote a lot of medical things that were a little outlandish. So we did that. And then my thesis for Columbia was my first book, which is called Reinventing Generose, totally different than the Vatican story. And actually, the Vatican story had an trajectory. I used to go to Italy every year before the pandemic hit. So
Mhm.
I was standing in St. Peter's Square looking at the Basilica and thinking, I wonder what's going on back there.
Mhm.
And the muse kind of hit. I got the title, and in my head, I always get the title first for some strange reason. And I jotted down some notes, and I put it aside for about 10 years while I was going back to school and writing the other book, and a lot of short stories I had to write for school. And then I went back to Italy in 2019, just before the pandemic hit. It was October of 2019, and I got very sick there. Now I know what it was. I didn't know then. But I walked about 88 miles in Rome, and Venice I know pretty well. Rome I didn't know so well. So I walked around, went to different restaurants, and got the whole, landscape. And then I came home and I treated it like a job, and I wrote every day for 8 hours. I did research. I have papers everywhere because I just would have scraps of paper and I'd write what I uncovered, and I just leave it around. I just moved. So I have all these papers, and I'm looking at it's all like the little notes I had to myself. And I don't really outline, but I jot down notes as I research. So it took a lot of research. It took about a year to write. So I was, that's pretty much it.
Thank you for sharing that. It's awesome. But in this day and age in technology and stuff, well, I tell you what, I wouldn't have papers all over the place. If it's got to be a lot of papers, I just put it away and go online and research. Because in college, I didn't do a lot of research. I hated going to the library. It takes me forever to find what I want. But now I don't mind researching you. I don't mind researching my guests on Friday. And it makes it so much easier. And again, I'm the type of person, I don't like having things all over the place. It just confuses the heck out of me.
I
But
agree.
so the technology today, it helps Hollis out a lot. So hey,
Well, I mean, I did look everything up online
yeah,
and buy books and things like that, but I'm older, so
gotcha.
I have to see it. And if I saved it in a file, I was always afraid I would lose it. So when I had it at my fingertips, it helped with the writing and it helped with the imagination
Yep.
to see it and read it. I used to read the last thing I wrote before I go to bed at night. So it would be in my subconscious. Sounds crazy, but it works. That's, I have the next book in the series is ready to go. I had no intention of writing it, but I woke up with the first line in my head and then I just bang that out. So that's it's the same characters.
Outstanding. The Vatican. One thing. Congratulations to the new Pope. Everything is going great there so far. You want to have a quick note on the new Pope, or we can go beyond that. Any thoughts?
Well, interesting. I did a podcast in April, and the very nice, wonderful host said, I have to tell you, I believe this entire novel could be true, except an American Pope. That's never going to happen. Which was, okay, you're probably right,
Yeah.
but here we are.
Here we are.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That was a shock.
Yeah. So you got the Vatican, and again, I don't look into the Vatican very much, so I don't know a lot about it. But you do hear stories, the secrecy, hypocrisy, the power, the sexual stuff, all kinds of things like that. So when you start researching and start seeing that, kind of share with us how you start to feel about this stuff and this powerful religion.
Well, I knew of the scandals. I mean,
Yeah.
it broke in Boston, actually. I was from New York, but it was all over the place. And I witnessed it personally because I was teaching religion to kids. I didn't like the way my kids were being taught, so I decided to do it myself. And I guess I was bad because they put me in the outskirts of the church, in a little room somewhere with all these kids, 8th graders. It was great. We had a great time. But the pastor at the time was just like typical holier than thou kind of almost like a dictator. It was a very wealthy town. I didn't live there. I just taught there, but it was a very wealthy town, and he just played on that, and it was really kind of crazy. And he